What if I told you that the greatest scientific mind of the 20th century was actually a poor student who had trouble finding a job after college? That the man who proposed the theory of relativity was seen as a contemptuous rebel who didn't care for authority or social norms? That Albert Einstein, one of the most famous physicists ever, was actually an unconventional nonconformist? Einstein was never like the other students. He had an unquenchable curiosity about the natural world that started at a very young age. As a child, he was fascinated by puzzles, building blocks, mechanical toys, and dismantling objects to see how they worked. His wonder and imagination were unmatched. While Einstein enjoyed learning, he detested the regimented and authoritarian structure of school. He was always asking too many questions, challenging his teachers, and disregarding the standard curriculum. This made him unpopular with instructors and caused his academic scores to suffer. In 1895, Einstein failed the entrance exam to the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Zurich, what is now known as ETH Zurich. This was a premier technical university, and Einstein dreamed of studying there. Fortunately, the director of the school saw potential in Einstein and admitted him on a probationary basis after he completed additional coursework. Yet even at the prestigious ETH Zurich, Einstein refused to conform. He skipped classes, studied physics and math textbooks that weren't part of the curriculum, and read philosophy on his own. He was fascinated by Ernst Mach's skepticism about absolute space and time, as well as David Hume's philosophical critiques on causality. Their unconventional thinking inspired Einstein's own theories. Since he wasn't focused on his formal studies, Einstein's grades were mediocre. Upon graduation in 1900, the only job he could get was a lowly technical assistant position at the Swiss Patent Office. This gave him ample free time, however, to delve deeper into physics puzzles that enthralled him. Einstein engaged in thought experiments, imagining himself chasing beams of light and pondering what the world would look like if he traveled at the speed of light. This was unconventional thinking at the time, but it led Einstein to formulate his special theory of relativity in 1905. This groundbreaking paper proposed that the laws of physics are the same in all inertial frames and that the speed of light is constant regardless of your frame of reference. The special theory of relativity completely transformed our understanding of space and time, but it encountered great resistance and skepticism from the physics establishment because it contradicted 200 years of accepted Newtonian mechanics. As a little-known patent clerk with unorthodox ideas that questioned the most renowned scientists of his day, Einstein was ridiculed and ignored. He pressed on with his unique thought experiments, picturing a man falling off a roof or accelerating rapidly in a box. Einstein was convinced that acceleration and gravitation were equivalent, and this led him to his general theory of relativity in 1915. This explained gravity as distortions in the fabric of space-time, revolutionizing our cosmological understanding. Once again, the leading minds doubted Einstein and thought his imagination had gone too far. But in 1919, observations of starlight bending during a total solar eclipse provided proof that Einstein was right. Practically overnight, he went from obscurity to international fame. Einstein's nonconformist attitude and willingness to challenge conventional wisdom were key to his brilliance. He cared more about satisfying his own burning curiosity than following some prescribed path. Einstein once said, "The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existence." This unrelenting curiosity led Einstein to continue probing physics mysteries throughout his career. In the 1920s, he became obsessed with the newly formulated quantum theory, which he was convinced was incomplete. Quantum mechanics stated that everything has a probabilistic nature at small scales, which clashed with Einstein's deterministic view of the universe. Once again, Einstein followed his unconventional thinking to advance physics forward. In a feat of imagination, he and two other scientists proposed the Einstein-Podolsky-Rosen paradox in 1935. This thought experiment attempted to show how bizarre the implications of quantum entanglement really are, with Einstein claiming it demonstrated that quantum theory must be missing some elements. While Einstein was wrong that quantum entanglement violated causality, his out-of-the-box thought experiment did reveal a very real paradox. This contradicted long-held assumptions and led to completely new fields of research to better understand these strange quantum correlations. Einstein's example teaches us that challenging prevailing thought paradigms is often the source of revolutionary discovery. Throughout his life, Einstein followed his own compass, guided by his unbridled curiosity and creativity. He imagined himself riding beams of light before anyone else dared to question the absoluteness of time. This is why Einstein became one of the most brilliant minds our world has ever known. He was a rebel who was willing to throw out the textbook, forget conventional thinking, and follow his curiosity wherever it led. We can all channel that spirit of unconventional nonconformity when tackling our own challenges. While intellectual giftedness was crucial to Einstein's genius, his rebellious nature gave him the courage to use his abilities to their full potential. He questioned authority figures that demanded obedience and conformity. Einstein realized that truly great achievement comes from marching to the beat of your own drum. In 1931, Einstein was asked how his theory of relativity occurred to him. He replied that an inner voice spoke to him about it, defying his attempts to see physics according to the established viewpoints. Einstein stressed the importance of having the courage to follow your own voice, even if it goes against the mainstream. Einstein detested regimentation in schools because he believed it discouraged intellectual autonomy and creativity. In a famous letter he wrote, "It is not so very important for a person to learn facts, for that he does not really need college. He can learn them from books. The value of an education in a liberal arts college is not the learning of many facts, but the training of the mind to think. Thinking for oneself requires cultivating a beginner's mindset." Einstein implored us to never stop questioning, as blindly accepting dogma is the antithesis of progress. He reminded us that setting an example of intellectual humility and skepticism is just as important for society as actual scientific contributions. Einstein's nonconformity enabled him to transform physics not just once but twice. Even as an older, established figure, he leveraged unconventional thought experiments to advance quantum theory and reveal paradoxes that had gone unseen. He exemplified how we must never become too satisfied with the status quo or complacent in our beliefs. Our minds thrive when we retain a childlike curiosity about the world. Giving ourselves permission to think freely outside the boundaries of conventional wisdom is often the spark that ignites creativity and innovation. Had Einstein conformed to the physics orthodoxy of his time, he may never have dreamed up his radical theories. We can all channel our inner Einstein by questioning assumed truths and allowing our minds to wander. Though Einstein had extraordinary intellect, it was his intellectual nonconformity and creative imagination that allowed him to revolutionize science. He teaches us that to make waves we must be willing to rock the boat.